Hi everyone, welcome to Cue Ball Garage. So in this week's episode we're working on the 1 tonner again. So I've been doing fabrication work, as you'll see in the video. I've already showed you a bit of a mock-up of how I was going to do the transmission and oil coolers and the electric air conditioner up under the tray. So on this episode we make that. I haven't painted it, but it's all together. Just tack the little bracket on the other side and use the rubber isolators so to give everything a little bit of cushioning over all the bumps so I don't crack any of the coolers. So we've done that and also mucked around with the seat frame rail, so I've used a bit of 40mm tube as standoffs and then put those and put the brackets and the sliders and everything on. So please stick with me. And also we've learned a couple of valuable lessons this episode, and one of them is to never drain your waste oil and then get distracted and answer the phone. And because it goes everywhere, makes a big mess, and it's not real good. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you at the end. All right, thank you. this is the framework. It's where I'm going to mount the coolers up underneath. So you would have seen me working on it using riv nuts in the chassis. Hold it on. So the engine cooler's over there, engine oil cooler. Got the rubber mounts, so they're not bolted, it's just kind of sitting in the holes at the moment. And these cross braces here, they're the ones that are going to be for the aircon condenser. So we just come back over to the bench. So I've got the fan. Just got the through bolts there for the fan shroud, and then I've put aluminium riv nuts in the condenser in the side there, the mount, so they'll just screw in. The other side's already in. Same length thread either side. I'll see if I can sit this in one-handed. And obviously I'll use nylock nuts up underneath. And a little space in the middle, that's just there for the transmission cooler. So I'm just going to make some mounts up of that, but you get the idea. I'll get to work on the mounts for the transmission cooler. So here we go for clearance. Looks like a mission success. Should be able to fit the fan for the tranny cooler up in there as well, so that's good. We'll just check the air conditioning compressor. Sorry, the air conditioner condenser. Well, just a miss. Miss as good as a mile. So the only thing left to do now is pull it all apart again and paint all the bracketry before I mount it back in. Use Loctite. So I've got everything on rubber isolators, as you can see under there. That one over in the corner. That actually mounts it to the chassis rail as well. That one's got a bolt in. I'll just have to weld that L bracket in. And I've got to make a little shroud for the fan for the transmission cooler. That's the size of the fan, it's just going to sit in there, but I'll bend some metal up. My mate's got me bender at the moment. And this is what I was talking about for the air compressor. So I've just used the first fuel tank bracket. Obviously that fuel tank isn't going to be there anymore. And then I remove the other one, and I've just got a jack stand under it to get it level, and I'll make another bracket for that. But you always know you have a good time when you've got broken hardware, and you can see the rust down there on the rail, so I'm going to have to do a bit of digging up inside the chassis rails, and I'll use that cavity wax to fill it, make sure it's all good. So I've got the pin in the bottom there, a pin in the top. So I've just done a bit of clearance for the top of the rod, but you can see as you put tension on it, as you put force on it to lift it, it bends the bracket up into the timber. That's what I was saying about I'll have to use something a bit sturdier. I might have to do a bit of welding as well, bolt it and weld it. But anyway, that's where that's sitting at the moment. Anyway, it's getting there. All takes time. So I was mucking around with the seat rails. I got them out of the box to see what's what. So unfortunately, I haven't got any mounting hardware or the rails for these seats. They were already in the car when I got it. Just sitting in there. So if I try and sit them in, first of all, they're not quite long enough. And also you need the actuation here for the slide rails. So that's got to lift up. So obviously the seat's upside down. And there's not enough room for that. So for example, I need something like that, but I'll have to get some larger tube, rectangle tube. So I'll go and get that. In the meantime, I might muck around with a shifter. So in the Impala I've got a aeroflow shifter. You wouldn't believe it. Looks very similar, doesn't it? Even though it's got no, hasn't got the aeroflow emblem on it. And it feels a lot tighter. Now obviously the one in the Impala's been used, so it might have worn out a little bit, but yeah, it's nice and firm, nice and tight. So I think I'll pull it apart and we'll just have a look to see how it's going to sit in the bottom. I'll have a look first of all, and then I'll pull the sides off it. Tell you what, might just need a couple of little shims under it to stop it rocking around, because you want to make sure it's all square, but hard to do everything one-handed. So I've just got to keep in mind that the seat is going to be sitting up higher. I haven't even got a steering column in this one, so it's hard to figure out your exact position you're going to be in, but I normally have the seat back, nearly 6'2", so, but yeah, something like that, I think it'll sit pretty nice on the floor. So I might move the covers off it and put a couple of Tech screws in first of all and just see how I go for clearance. Plenty of clearance for the dash, and it looks like for the console as well. So I've got the console sitting roughly where it should be. It's not screwed in. And I've done a bit of measuring of the transmission tunnel. Did a bit of a centre line. Now I've just got a Tech screw in. One in the back corner, one in the front corner. So as you can see, as you come back, that's as far back as it's going to come. So it's back in the first there now. Drive, neutral, reverse lockout. So it's only got such a short movement that it's not going to worry me. So I think that's perfect where it is, easy to reach. Yeah, that's about it. That'll do it. So I'll mark the holes, drill them. I'll probably use rib nuts to mount it. You can always use nylock nuts underneath, but rib nuts are perfect for it. That's how I got the other one done in the Impala. So plenty of room there, and then I'm better off drilling my hole for my cable. It goes in on an angle, so you can pretty much get that right. Get all this kind of stuff done before you worry about any final fitment. So you don't have to worry about drilling any more holes or mucking around. So it looks good too. Good looking shifter. Just going to give this bracket a bit of a weld. Just make sure it's in position. I'll pull it all apart to paint it. Got the big Unimig fired up, ready to go. I'll put you over the other side so you can have a bit of a look. Remember, don't look into the camera. You don't want to get welding flash. Got to hold it there anyway. Give it a final weld when it comes out. Can't see much with the glare of the lights coming through the lens, so might have to get a hoodie. Hope you can hear me. The neighbour's got the chainsaw going full noise. Nothing like the sound of a two-stroke. So we've got the shifter where we want it. I've loosened the bolts off. So this is where the cable comes through. So it's going to come through on an angle. So I've already marked this up before. So that's about the point where it's going to go through the floor. So that's about the angle we want. So I've marked that, just put a bit of tape there and marked it with a permanent marker. So then in our bag of tricks, so they give you mounting bolts and the terminals for our switches and everything there as well. But so we've got our grommet here. So you can see that it goes into the floor that way, and that'll be the angle that it goes through. So for example, it'll sit there somewhere like that. The cable comes through the floor and it goes in on the angle, so it sits in through the grommet. So what we're going to do is drill the hole for that. So I've got the centre mark there. We'll get rid of the shifter and we'll do that. So what I might have to do is, it's a bit hard to do all this while I've got holding the camera in one hand. I'll get rid of the shifter because I don't want to scratch it or get metal filings in the mechanism. Just get rid of that. Put it over here somewhere. I'll probably turn my aircon there as well. Right, I'll drill this hole and I'll bring you back. Hole's drilled, grommet's in there. So you can see that's the angle the cable's going to go through the floor. Simple as that. A little bit of, it's a bit loose, so put a bit of Sikaflex around it. Looks like it moved around a little bit, the hole saw, but you get the general idea of what's going on there. So, like I said before, you're better off getting everything done, do all your roughing work now, and then don't have to worry about it later on. So you would have seen I've been mucking around with the seat frames. Nice bit of hardwood in there. That's all the bolster you need. I think I might take that out when I get them reupholstered. I don't really want a bit of hardwood on my cheeks. So I've got the little riser there. That's 40mm tube. So I just got that bolted down into the seat frame, and then bolt at the back. Just got a couple of Tech screws in each side. I've just tried it out. So with the handle, so to activate it, you can see there's 2 pins on either side. So it says to spread it out and to get it to fit those pins to whatever width you need to go to. So obviously you can see it's into the back pin all right. Now it looks like you could probably bend that tab out, slide it into the tube and get it to hook in that way, but it needs some other way of securing it, otherwise you've got to try and get the bend parallel, so you've got the same amount of pin length inside the hole, if you know what I mean. So if it goes sideways, if one of the rails slides a little bit further than the other, it's just going to pop out. So I'm going to find a way to secure that in there properly. Anyway, I thought you'd just give you a quick look at what I was doing there. And that's it. I just wanted to give you a look. So we've got the passenger seat mounted in there. I've taken the door off. I'm putting those other doors on anyway, so just made it easy to get the seat in and out, and just to give you a better visual on it. So we've got the rails in. You would have seen me making those. I fast forwarded all that, bit of a time lapse. So that's how it mounts up underneath. It's got a little spacer underneath. So this thread here isn't very good. I'm going to have to fix all these threads up, or even if I get longer bolts and go through. But anyway, it just gives it that little bit, probably 10mm, lifts the front up. So when you sit in the seat, it's pretty perfect anyway, the height that it sits at. That's how far your little bar comes out. That actuates the rails, so you can slide it forward and back. And then I'll just recline the seat back, give yourself a little bit of a gap here. The last thing you want is that rubbing on the back, it'll drive you crazy. But anyway, that's how they're going to sit. So you just got to put effort in there, make the rails up, get it all to suit. A couple of spaces to get it sitting where you want it. So I'm pretty happy with that. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed this footage. I did fast forward a fair bit of it while I was grinding, cutting and drilling. You know, it can be boring to some people, or just the noise is a pain anyway, so I got the music going. I purchased a steering column for this car, and that's turned up this week. I got billet bonnet hinges coming. They should be here next week. A few other bits and pieces I'll be able to keep going on with it, and keep you all updated on what's going on. And I've got to do another one on the HQ sedan. So I really want to get this car ready for summer nats. I've entered the Impala, but I'd love to take this car. If that doesn't happen, well, Bathurst Auto Fest is my next thing. So there's no reason why I shouldn't get it ready for that. So this morning I dropped off the rotating assemblies for the big block for this car to get balanced, and also the one for my mate's, the aluminium small block we're doing for his HQ sedan, and he wants to have that one ready for Bathurst Auto Fest. So I'll keep you updated on that. I'll do those engine builds once I get those parts back, and I'll keep you involved. I'd just like to say thanks to everyone who's subscribed, liked, and all the rest of the stuff. Really appreciate it. So share the videos, tell your mates, jump onto Cue Ball Garage, and thanks very much. That's the end of this one. See you later.